Dumb
and weird.
podcast.
It's a great time.
Well, how many Michael Moore documentaries have you watched? Because I had to
Bowling
watch.
for Columbine, the one on capitalism,
Yeah,
and then
the love story one.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is very interesting considering he benefits off of capitalism. He is the top tier of the 1%, which is interesting because he's always shitting on the unfair advantages of capitalism. But at the end of the day, he's sitting up there with the 3% of the 1%. Imagine like you're already part of the 1%, but now you're part of like that 3% that's way up there.
Yeah, I think he's just one of those guys. It was like a fluke. He just happened to get very lucky in that respect. Because like, let's put it this way: I've seen independent documentaries that are like leagues above anything he's ever done, and I bet you they have like maybe like 10% or 20% of the budget that he was working with. You know.
Oh yeah.
So like one really good documentary I watched when I was younger was a movie called Food Inc.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and that documentary had a much lower budget than Michael Moore's ever done, and that's a Herald documentary. I also like Super Size Me. I think that's
a great one.
I think it's a really good documentary too. And Morgan Spurlock's not a rich guy.
No.
I think he's still like trying to make movies to this day, like just barely getting by half the time. You know.
I think my favorite ones are bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah,
That was a
good one.
great one.
That's a good one too.
And he had another one about kids in sports.
Yeah.
I can't Trophy Kids, I think it was.
He did a documentary TV show called 30 Days that was really good too.
Yeah.
And that was where basically he would take people and he would put them in a job that they necessarily wouldn't like, and he makes them work that job for 30 days. It's kind of like a
How he did
walk in my shoes kind of thing.
Yeah. And by the way, we are speaking of like different people. We're going back between the Super Size Me guy and the guy who made Bigger, Faster, Stronger and all the sports documentaries.
Yeah, but the reason why we're talking about all these guys is because we're talking about these guys who have a much lower budget are better documentarians than Michael Moore could ever dream to be. But somehow Michael Moore is much wealthier. You know?
I think the 90s was one of those things where if you just happen to catch lightning in the bottle right at that moment, you could make it big. Like, I mean, that's why so many musicians are still around to this day.
Well, I had a professor in college. He told me that the first couple of documentaries from Michael Moore were actually pretty decent, and he said it was because he hates Michael Moore now, but he said that the first couple documentaries were actually pretty good in his opinion. But I mean, he didn't really go into detail about the first couple ones, why he liked them. I think he might have liked the first one that we looked up, the one that was from the early '90s about this Chevrolet plant over in his hometown. But by the way, to add to that, apparently he doesn't even live in that area where that Chevrolet plant was. Like, so he was saying that he was from this poor area where that Chevrolet plant was. Apparently he was on the rich part of town.
Of course he was.
Yeah. He's a fucking liar, dude.
It was a great documentary since we're on the topic of documentaries. Chris Farley documentary that just recently came out.
I heard
sad as fuck.
I heard the Val Kilmer one's pretty good too.
That one too?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the Andre the Giant one? That one will make you tear up.
Yeah.
That one and the documentary about Ronnie Coleman that came out a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah.
Just watching Ronnie Coleman, the beast that he was, destroy his body, and now he can barely move, but he's still going somehow.
Yeah, that would definitely like that. I mean, me and you've talked about how we like pumping iron. That's a pretty cool documentary.
You know who doesn't like doing anything physical?
Who's that?
Michael Moore.
Michael Moore.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he doesn't, does he?
They like shitting on people and like chasing people down in a very waddly, fattish way.
See, he couldn't have done Super Size Me like Morgan Spurlock did, because Super Size Me would have been a biopic
Where he died.
Yes. Yeah, it would have been about his life. It wouldn't have actually been it wouldn't have been like a documentary about somebody else. It would have been about him.
You know what it would have been, though? It would have been like one of those like straight-to-TV, shitty 90s television shows about a guy who was fat and ate himself to death.
You know what's funny? They made the amount of parodies that came out after Super Size Me. There was one that Doug Stanhope did, and it was called Super High Me. And it was
I saw that one.
Yeah, it was where he just got high for like 30 days.
And that's still better than any of Michael Moore's documentaries.
Yeah, I know, right? Dude, I have seen tons of documentaries that are better than his documentaries, and some of them don't even have a budget at all. And it's actually funny, we're talking about documentaries. I'm actually currently shooting a documentary right now.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
yeah, the baby boomer and millennial one,
That's
which
it.
is actually more of a mockumentary than anything.
And that's probably going to still be leaps and bounds better.
than Michael Moore's crap.
What are you on, like a shoestring budget, and you're still gonna make like Oscar gold worthy shit?
Yeah, and you know what we should do? If when we release it, we should have a premiere, and then once it's a big premiere, we should invite people, but then like we should invite him to come, Michael Moore
Yeah.
to come. He should show up, but then they're like, "Whew, there's a weight limit here," and then they don't let him in. You know.
Yeah.
If you want to check out more of our stuff, go to www.dumbcoolweird.com. You'll find our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon link if you want to support us. Also, be sure to check out our merch store. And if you're interested in being on our podcast, you can find a link on our website so you can reach out to us and tell us if you want to talk to us about something that's really weird, dumb, or cool. We'd be glad to hear from you. Hope you will stay tuned for the next weird ass episodes we got. Thank you.